Hey, what's up, everybody? Here we're taking a look at my custom Rise of the Beast Scourge. So here he is, and he is, the figure itself, the base figure was not good enough, so I had to upgrade it. So, my fists, as you'll see in this video, are pretty swollen, and my finger is cut, so I have a Band-Aid on. I was mad at work, and some stuff happened at work between me and a customer that pretty much resulted in an altercation. But the review must go on. So let's take a look at what I did to the figure and some of the paintwork. So he does have an upgrade kit on from this guy off of Instagram named NovaForge. I have my own things about him. His kit was good. It's just it took a long time to get here. And some parts of it are kind of left to be desired. Like, these leg bits are okay. They're not too bad. They like to fall off a lot. At least the shin one, the thigh ones, actually. The head is great. I love the head that he did. And, of course, I used my paint type of technique for the eyes for him. As you can see around here, some of the more little upgrade pieces you'll probably be able to pick out, especially in the chest area. But yeah, I have him upgrade up, and I will probably be getting the DNA kit. But yeah, here's the sword that I have painted up there. Gotten all the little cracks, heavily dry brushed it and everything. I didn't do too much for the truck mode, so the truck mode, like, top cab section looks a little bit kind of meh. I didn't really do anything for the butt. Because, this figure mostly from head to toe is all custom painted up, so there were some parts I kind of just left as is, but yeah, it does look pretty good. But yeah, as I said, I will be getting the DNA kit for better shoulders right there, and but I will be keeping the NovaForge head just because I do like it. But yeah, because what I'm thinking is I'm going to try and kit bash the two upgrade kits. But as you can see, I painted up the chest there. And let's just take a look at that head. So the head sculpt work for the, at least the upgrade kit from NovaForge does look really good. He did amazing work. And plus with me painting over top of it, it just enhanced it even further, making it just look absolutely just stunning. But you can see here around the back too as well. I tried to give it that rust look all over the figure, because he did kind of have a rusty look. But yeah, he does look pretty fire. And yeah, so that's the majority of the stuff that I did for at least the body. He was kind of a hard figure to paint here and there sometimes because, the rust look was kind of difficult to do and accomplish. But it came out as good as I could possibly get it. And I want to do more paint videos, but it is difficult to do. Now what I'm going to do is I took off all the upgrade kits and put the old original hat on that this figure came with, just to kind of show you what upgrade kits can really do to a figure. So yeah, here's the original head. It looks awful, and it looks nothing like how he did in the movie. And his neck is just super long, and it just looks really whack. But yeah, you can see that there's really not a lot of detail in that head. And you can tell it's based off concept art, so I also removed the stuff from the torso and the legs. But at least you can see some of the extra paintwork I did do. I did not skip out on this figure. Even though some of my upgrade kits were covering most of these, I didn't want to skip out on any certain details I could miss. But as you can tell, he looks really skinny in the leg area, and he just looks, the only way I could really put it is built different. But yeah, and if you want to see what it looked like without the paint, there you go. Now let's get the upgrade kit back on. Now we're back in business. So bring in the figure over there. He does look pretty nice with the kit. Now let's take a look at some of the sculpt work that I didn't go over. But yeah, you can see he has all these chains sculpted around, which is pretty nice. That interior chest piece glowing looks really, really cool. I left it unpainted because it is true to his character. But as you can see here, he has a lot of really nice sculpt work going on. Especially here with this blade. I do love the texturing they have for it and all the cracks and all the edge work in it, which is pretty cool. And, you know, we do like some edging over here on the channel. But, anyway, some of the other sculpt work right here, it's got all around him. It looks really, really nice. I do really, really love how much work is in this figure. So let's get into some articulation. So to start off with here, we're going to go over the head first. Now my upgrade kit is broken, at least on the head. One of the ball joints is kind of broken a little bit, which sucks. And, well, the guy who, like, the material he made it out of is decent, but, you know, just the one joint just kind of snapped, and it'll probably pop off a couple times this video. But as for the head here, yep, see, there it goes. It just comes off. See, that's the part that's broken. So I just kind of have to rest on there. But as for the head, it is on double ball joints. But obviously this one keeps coming off. But for the head, it can go up about that far. And down about that far. And he does swivel all the way around. Like so. Does have some side to side going on right there. And for the arms, they can go up about that far. A little bit on a weird angle, but it can go up about that far. And he can go back down all the way that far. No butterfly joints, but his arm can swivel all the way around if you can get past the backpack. And if you try not to hit the upgrade kit too, but he does have a moving shoulder pad, and the arm is on two different hinges. So you have the one hinge, and then you have this hinge right here. And he does have a bicep swivel, which can swivel all the way around like so. I'm not going to do it over it too much, not to scrape paint. He does have a single jointed elbow, and each of these claw parts individually articulate like so. So you can have it opened or closed. As you just keep it closed for right now. And moving that back into position. As for his waist, actually, I forgot. This other hand has finger articulation, and the blade has some articulation too, but it's mainly for transformation for the most part, but you can articulate the blade a little bit, and you can bring it all the way back if you want. You can hinge it all the way forward. So his blade's pre-articulated. That part's articulated too, but it's mainly for transformation. And now, as for the body, he does have a waist swivel, which is pretty much it, but I mean, that's still pretty good. He can do the full splits, like so. His leg can go up about that far, and it can go back pretty much all the way. And he does have a thigh swivel, and he does have a single bend at the knee, like so. And he does have foot articulation, as to which the foot can go all the way up. Can't go back, but he does have ankle pivots, which is pretty deep, so he can get into some pretty dynamic poses. So he can articulate pretty well. Now let's go over accessories. So for his first accessory here, he has his cannon arm. Now I did paint this one up too, giving it that kind of rust look. And before I did the figure, I did his accessory first just to test out the capabilities of my rust effect kind of look. So I did add a little bit of green onto here to give it kind of a rust effect look, but I ultimately opted not to use green anymore and just use the straight up brown, which I think was the best idea. Now, to put it on the figure, basically what you're going to do here is on his claw arm, right here. So bring in the cannon. You just detach the claw arm like so. That peg, it's a little bit kind of crusty in there because of the top coat. But if you see that notch right there, you just line it up with that one right there on that peg. And you just do your best to get it on. Mine's going to be stiff because of the top clear matte finish I put on them. But there you go. And that is his cannon arm. And it does look pretty fire. Now, the only other accessory he comes with, which you could technically count as one, is his blade. So if you open his hands right there, you can actually have him hold on to his blade, which is pretty cool. I'm not going to put it all the way so I don't scrape paint, but he can hold on to it nonetheless, and it does, it looks pretty cool, my opinion. Doesn't look too bad. And he holds it very, very well. You can have him fight Prime with it too. But let's get on to some of the size comparisons. So for the first bit of comparisons here, we'll go smallest to largest. But first, let's start off with his main group. So here he is with Nightbird. They do look pretty good together there. I think the scale fits a little bit. I think Nightbird should be a little bit taller, but there he is with Nightbird. And here he is with Battle Trap. My custom Battle Trap, that is. And they look pretty perfect together. I like how they look. And let's bring back in Nightbird there so we could have the whole trio. And they look just absolutely perfect together. And for Autobots, here we have Bumblebee next to Scourge right there. So you can see how Bumblebee stacks up next to Scourge. I think that works out pretty well. And here we have Optimus Prime himself next to Scourge. And I think the scale looks pretty good right there. I am getting the Byway Optimus Prime, so stay tuned for that. I'll probably be kit bashing the both of them. Here he is next to Optimus Primal. So he looks next to Primal right there. And here he is next to Rhinox. Right there. See Rhinox I custom painted too and used green on him. And taking him out, I have about 2 more comparisons here. So here we have the Bumblebee movie Blitzwing right there. See how it looks. And taking him out, let's take a look at a more recent Leader Class figure. And here he is next to Megatron, which I wish Megatron was in the movie. It would have been pretty cool to have seen Megatron on the big screen. Hopefully sometime soon, but I really do love this Megatron design. So this figure does scale pretty perfectly with a lot of the characters, but I did forget to mention one more thing. And that one more thing is if you got the Optimus Primal, you get this, as to which you can put in his hands. But let's get on to the transformation. So the transformation, I've already taken liberty of taking off some parts of the upgrade kits that will not be able to be involved in the transformation, which does kind of suck. That's why I want to get the DNA kit, so that way I can kit bash and still use upgrade kit parts within the transformation. But this transformation is going to be a little bit sloppy, just because he is kind of finicky, especially since I haven't painted up. But I'll try to be as in-depth as possible when it comes to his transformation. So let's get into it. So first what we're going to do is make sure that claw is closed up. What we're going to do here is we're going to take this and just tab that on in and extend it all the way out like so. So that's the orientation you're going to have it. Then we're going to lift the arms up. We're going to untab the backpack right here like so, and just accordion that out as follows. And we're going to open up this piece a little bit later. We're just going to leave it on the back for right now. And next we're going to do is take these little side bits out of his sides and lift this portion up like so, as close as possible. And what we're going to do next is we're going to untab this front section right here and just swing it out and leave it off to the side for right now. And we're going to untab the shoulders from the chest, and we're going to move the arms back. Now for the arms, what we're going to do is we're going to make sure we bend it on that secondary hinge right there, and then move it up too as well, making sure this is all straightened out. We got to move it up like so. Move that portion up there, and we're going to swing the arm in like so, making sure it's secure. Doesn't tab in just yet. We're going to move that blade out of the way, and we're going to do the same thing for the other arm. So you want it in that orientation, so move that first hinge down, make sure that this whole section here is straightened out like so, and just swing it on in, making sure it is close to his back as possible. Make sure the arms are straight, and we're just going to tidy everything up in the back like so. Bring that up a little bit more like that. So you have about that kind of configuration going on like so. So that's what you should be having. And then what we're going to do is go in here, pop this wheel section out. And you're a bit stiff because of the paint, but there you go. It just tabs in right there. So we're just going to take that out and move it up, and it's going to tab in to that portion like so. I'm not going to tab it in all the way just because my tabs are a bit stiff because of the paint I had put on. And so that way you have it looking like that. Now we're going to do is we are going to unaccordion this whole back section and just fold these parts out, since we have the time to do that now, like so. And then what we're going to do here is we're going to bring the camera down just a little bit. We're going to basically fold it down like so, but there is a specific way you're supposed to have this back section. So have it bent back like this, bend it up, bring that section down. So you should have it in this orientation. Then that back part's going to peg in. Then you just kind of drop this down. Hopefully I got this right. Oh, actually, you keep it up like that, but still tabbed in, and then bring that top part down so it's in that kind of orientation. And then this part will come down, and then we're just going to tab it into these two sides right here. So this portion gets tabbed in right there. Let's just tab that on in, give it a squeeze. Same thing with this side. Just kind of make sure this gets tabbed in. And there we go. Should be good there. Yep. So that way it's all tabbed in right there. So we're slowly creating the front part of the truck. And this head's going to fall off, so we're just going to keep that off to the side for a second. And we're going to do the same thing with this wheel here that we did for the other one. Just pop it on out like so. And make sure we open it up like so. This part is going to swivel around, so we're going to unhinge it, bring it back just a little bit so we get some clearance, and it's going to swivel like that and hinge on in like so. So we have it like in that orientation. And then we're going to swing it towards the front like so, and just make sure that part's pegged in, if you can get it pegged in. Mine will be stiff. But then we just peg that front portion in, making sure it's secure, and that is the front part of the truck. Pretty much almost all the way done, at least the front section there. And now we are going to move on to the legs. So for the legs, what we're going to do is utilize this thigh swivel. Just get that arm blade out of the way. We're going to utilize the thigh swivel and move the leg forward. And we're going to swivel the thigh around so you see that hole right there will peg right into there. And mine has always had a problem with pegging those in. It doesn't stay fully pegged in. Or we're going to bend the knee and make sure the leg is all straight, like so. So I have it in that orientation right there. And just make sure it's as straight as possible. Same thing for the other side. Spin the thigh around, peg it on in, like so. And then straighten out the leg. And so we almost have the truck mode all done. Now, I kept those, we'll bring the blade down first, but I kept those upgrade parts on because they don't interfere with the transformation, but you can take them off if you want to. I just kind of just keep them on. But as for the feet, we're going to go to this foot right here, and it will reveal a peg. And what we do with this now is we take the front toe in, but just make sure these feet are straight, not like hinged out or anything, just fully straight. And what we're going to do here is untab it from the inside like so. So that way it looks something like that. And do the same for the other foot. And these will swing inwards. So you're just going to swing it in like so. Same thing with the other one. And then these feet will just peg together. At least they should. Maybe my upgrade kit's interfering a little bit. But make sure that waist is straight too. And just get this pegged on in. And it should peg in there. I think the blade's getting stuck in between the feet. Yeah, it's getting stuck. So it should peg in, and plus, since I had the upgrade kit on, at least for those small little leg portions there, it is getting a bit caught up in it. So I'm just going to fix this. Make sure it's all... You know what? I'm just going to take these parts off. So I'm just going to take them off right now. So I can just show you just the regular transformation without any of this interference. Again, sorry for kind of the messy transformation, but just make sure those parts are pegged back in. Then we can get these feet pegged together. And that peg wants to... There we go. Make sure the feet are pegged in, like so. And then these will just be brought forward. And, they actually peg onto these. Alright, my bad. So just make sure that these feet parts peg up onto those tabs right there that I had the upgrade kits on. So just make sure those are pegged on in, like so. And then put the feet in together like that. So it should look something along the lines of that right there. Make sure those are pegged in. And, I forgot about the blade. Alright. Sorry for this being so messy. But I'm just going to peg that, and the blade will peg in right there on the inside of the leg. So just make sure that gets pegged on in there, right on that tab. Then plug the feet back in. Now we should be done with the back. So now there's only one more final thing to do, and that is these side things. So what we're going to do is just angle out the smokestacks and just bring this whole panel down, and it should just snap on in like so. And then there's a peg right there that pegs onto that hip. Just make sure this is all good and snapped in right there, and that should be good. So same thing for the other side. Hinge out the smokestacks and bring this whole panel down and peg it on in. Make sure it's all together, and make sure that portion pegs into the hip, and it should be all together. Now there is one more thing we have to do, but I'm just going to put on this head, back on this head, and place that on right there. And you can see it's pretty hollow underneath. But that is the truck mode. But there is one more thing. Grab his cannon right here. Split it down the middle as best you can. If you can get into it. It is a bit stiff. So just get your nail in there and just kind of split it open. And there we go. We got that split open right there. Now we're going to do is just spin that around. And we're going to angle out these sections right here. And it'll be tab sections on both sides that will peg into these tabs here and here on the back. Now, one of my tabs won't work. I'm going to try to make it work, but it probably won't. So here's the tab that does work, so you just tab it on in. Then let's see if we can get this one on. I remember mine not really working that well because of the paint. But if I can get it on... Yeah, it looks like it's not going to work. So we're just going to use the one tab if we can. One more try. And yeah, it's way too stiff, I think. So we're just going to use the one singular tab. But you can store his weapon here on the back. And that basically creates the kind of scoops that he has on his vehicle mode. Which is pretty clever, in my opinion. It pretty much adds to the vehicle mode and is part of the vehicle mode. So that's a pretty clever way of weapon storage. Now, it's kind of a shame that all these upgrade kit parts that I bought for a high price weren't involved. I do have two size comparisons for him in vehicle mode, but the vehicle mode alone, it looks good, but it lacks just like the Rise of Beast Optimus Prime. And here we go with the head falling off again. Man, I can't believe I paid that much for that upgrade kit. But yeah, here we go. So the front part of the truck looks good. But the back, of course, looks bad. But the tanks here on the sides, those are part of the upgrade kit that I got. So those do look pretty well. And I do love the orange kind of like clear plastic that they have going around the truck here. And as you can see on the front of his truck, he has all the emblems that he takes. So you can see a couple there, like the Maximals right there. And you got some Autobot ones, some Decepticon logos. You have the Wreckers symbol right there for the Wreckers. I think there was actually... I don't know what that symbol is right there. Can't really make that one out. I think there was a Predacon symbol somewhere, but I'm not exactly sure if there is one visible. But yeah, I mean, he's decked out in all the emblems that he takes, which is pretty cool. I mean, most of them you can't really see too much of them, which kind of sucks. But all in all, the truck mode does look pretty good, and that head keeps coming off. I'm just going to put that off to the side. But yeah, I do love all the sculpt work. Not a big fan of that hollow gap just in there. But yeah, for the most part, it looks pretty cool in truck mode. It is a cool looking truck. I give it that. But this bag section is just horrendous. I mean, I don't know what it is like in recent times with these like truck modes, but they just keep like just screwing up these back sections. I mean, the weapon storage fix helps it a little bit because that is part of the actual truck. But look at the hands just on the back and all that gappage. There's just a lot going on. And I'm not asking for a masterpiece level figure, but I'm like asking like just for some cleanup. Because this is just messy and like you just see the hands and stuff just sticking out the back. And mind you, this is a leader class figure, so its price point's like $50. But I do like the grill thing on the top there of the hood. But yeah, and like I don't know, like there are things I like about it. Like I like those smokestacks; they look really nice. There's a lot of nice sculpt work, but it's just really hollow underneath. There's just not a lot covering up. The hands are just sticking out the back. The back is just atrocious. But he does roll on all four wheels, and he doesn't look too bad. So it is a pretty good truck mode, in my opinion. Now for some comparisons here. I only have a couple of them because I didn't want to transform a lot. But here we do have the RC next to him, and I'm probably just going to have to hold her up because she keeps falling. Here's RC next to Scourge right there. Decent. Still think the bike is a little too big. And here we have Mirage next to Scourge right here. I do think this fits pretty well, in my opinion. They do look pretty nice together. I do love that Mirage. And here is for some Bumblebee movie stuff. Here's the Soundwave that I have transformed. Pretty mediocre mode for Soundwave. And for a maximal comparison here, where we have Cheetor. So that's how Cheetor looks next to Scourge right there. Looks pretty good. And for another comparison, here we have Nightbird right here. So we have Nightbird next to him. See how they look together right there. They look pretty nice. And bringing in here, we have Battle Trap. So there's Battle Trap next to Scourge. Right there. Looking pretty cool. Do think the scaling for these guys works out perfectly. Nightbird might be a little on the small side in robot mode, but for the most part, they work out pretty well. And let's just have them kind of all lined up on the side like so. And they look pretty nice. So let's bring in one last comparison for vehicle mode. Now, I don't have my Rise of the Beast Optimus Prime in vehicle mode, but I do have the Bumblebee movie one, and they basically share pretty much the same size and mode. So here is the comparison between those two, and they scale pretty well with each other as well. So, final thoughts on the figure itself. The base figure you get, it looks mediocre, but with upgrade kits, it looks definitely a lot better, and especially painting it up, it looks a lot better. The back of the truck mode's very messy. It is a leader class figure, so for the price point, I feel like they could have done a little bit better. But other than that, it looks really great. It poses pretty well. And for the most part, it's a pretty clean-looking robot mode. Aside from that really messy back portion of the truck mode, they definitely cared a little bit more about the robot mode, which is fine. But yeah, I mean, it's not too bad of a figure, definitely once you get painted up. But that's pretty much all I have to say for it. Just make sure to like, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.